Anytime you're working in Windows 8 and you're out here on the home screen on the Start menu, you'll notice up here in the upper right corner it's telling you what user is currently logged in. And as you can see, I've got Mark and I've personalized my picture to Wile E. Coyote, right? And if I click on my account name, notice I can change my account picture if I would like from here. I can lock the PC and take it back to a lock screen, or I can sign out so I can log in as somebody else. Well, there's a number of ways, and we do have a couple of options on these user accounts. And so in this video, I want to talk about understanding user accounts because you do have a bit of a new twist. There are now two options for user accounts in Windows 8. And for those of you who are administrators, there are actually three, right? We have a local account, which is local to my machine. We could then do a domain account that connects to an Active Directory domain, right, to a server. But the new kid on the block here is what's called the live account or the Microsoft account. And this again is a new option in Windows 8. So let's talk about that just a minute. First of all, the local account is just what it's always been. It's a local account on your computer, and when I log in and I type a password, it's checking a secure part of the Windows operating system files to look for and compare my password to make sure that I've done it correctly, and then it checks my permissions based on that. Now the password is securely stored and it's checked locally. Make sure that makes sense to you, okay? Now the Microsoft account, or the live account you may hear it called, is something totally new, and it's a bit confusing. This is really a new marketing name for a Hotmail or a Windows Live account. Make sure you understand that. And what they're doing here is they're saying, you know what, we're going to make it easy on you. We are going to allow you to give us an email address, and you can use the email address you normally use, say your Gmail address or whatever, and we're going to create you a new Windows Live account using that email address as the login. Then we're going to ask you to set a password. And then every time you log into Windows, we're going to use that live account. And kind of cool stuff. Now, why would I want to do this? Well, so what they're doing in the background is they're using that live account and that username that looks like an email address to provide seamless cloud functionality. In other words, you're not logging into the local machine. You're actually logging in to the Microsoft Live services. You're having to reach across the internet to log in. Now, some of you are thinking, well, wait a minute now. What if I don't have internet access? Do you say, and I can't log into my machine? No, it'll use cache credentials locally, but it will let you know how you can't connect to the internet. Now, where you will really see this is when you try to use any of the cloud functionality. If you try to open SkyDrive and you didn't use your Microsoft account or your Microsoft Live account or whatever you want to call it, then it's going to prompt you when you try to go into SkyDrive and say, well, you got to log in here. Why? Because if you didn't log in with your Microsoft account, then it didn't pass it up to SkyDrive when you open the application. Okay, so that's one of the things. Now, there's lots of debate out there about whether you should use this or not. Now, if you use the Microsoft account, what could go wrong? Well, you know, somebody could compromise your Microsoft Live account, or what we used to know as Hotmail account, and Microsoft will lock it. And you may have seen that happen before if you work with Microsoft Live or Hotmail. It's happened to me. Something happened, something was detected, something was sent, who knows what's going on, and they'll lock the account. And you try to log in and you can't, and you have to go in and answer some questions, tell them what your first pet was, what its blood pressure was, all that sort of stuff. And they'll send you messages to your phone. You have to put codes in and all that. Well, that is a very real possibility here, so keep that in mind. Also, you need to watch when you do the Windows 8 installation. Microsoft will kind of lead you down this default path, and if you don't read the screens very carefully, you'll create a Microsoft account without really understanding exactly what you've done and what the implications are. Okay, so what I would encourage you to do is just go watch the installing Windows 8 videos in this course. They were up near the front of the course. It was a two-part video, and I'm going to point out in that video when we start talking about user accounts when they've got you setting up a Microsoft account and how to change that to a local account. All right, so anyway, that's the bottom line on user accounts. You now have two choices just as a consumer. A local account on the machine that does not give you the full automatically syncing up to everything functionality, or you can use a Microsoft account which does give you that ability. Now, when I'm using a Microsoft account on my laptop, and then I go to somebody else's laptop or somebody else's desktop, and when I sign in, I use my Microsoft account, and guess what? It's going to sync, and I can see all the same data and stuff in the settings, a lot of them that I used on my other machine. So is it a cool piece of functionality? Yes, absolutely. Is it something you need to really understand what's going on? Absolutely. So this is a good introduction, and I would strongly encourage you to go out there and read a little bit more about this as you get a little more comfortable and acclimated with Windows 8. But that's your user account options.